Right. This was the exercise that you must have attempted during your field lesson, I hope, if you remember. Did you?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, but still, as far as I remember, I just touched upon this exercise that day. But today I will try to cover it in more detail, right?
Okay.
So in this exercise, you have to match the statements 1 to 6 with the questions
Mm-hmm.
A to E given on the right side.
Okay.
All right. So this will give you a good idea about the types of questions that we can expect with different types of statements, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the first statement says children have to be educated, but they also have to be allowed to learn things for themselves. What do you think? What do you think? Does it match with A? If you read A,
What are the disadvantages? No.
no.
Discuss both the statement and give your own opinion. It could be. Third is,
Okay.
to what extent do you think this is a positive trend? How realistic do you think this is? To what extent do you agree or disagree? So I would go to option B.
B. B for ball.
Yes, sir.
No.
Hmm.
Look, for this,
No,
you
sir.
have to, you should have two statements at least. Discuss both statements and give your own opinion. Now, in number one, this is just one single statement.
Uh-huh.
How this is one statement? If I say, fine, that's good, the children have to be educated, but is this a complete sentence?
Mm-hmm.
When I say
No,
children have to be educated,
sir.
but
Then I think it
this is
should
one
also
statement with two.
have to be allowed to learn things for themselves.
Yeah, you see, when if I cross out after but, they also, if I cross this part out, do you think it's a complete sentence?
Mm-hmm.
Children have to be educated, but no, this is not a complete
No.
statement, right? The first
Hmm.
statement, is combined with the second statement actually. The second part of the same statement. I won't say it as a first statement. I would say first part of this statement is combined or dependent on the second statement as well.
Hmm.
So second part of the statement. So this is a single statement. Number one is a single statement. Okay. Now let's have a
Okay.
look on number two.
Okay.
And
Advertisements spoil our enjoyment of today's entertainment. I think the advert are often more enjoyable than the programs they interrupt.
right
So,
now, these are two
uh,
statements. How
hmm.
can how can you justify that these are two statements? Number one, there's an inverted comma starting here, like the quotation mark starts here and
Hmm.
it ends here.
Yes.
Okay, then it again starts here. This is second statement and ends here. Right.
Hmm.
So this is one reason, because these are two statements. There's an
Hmm.
logically, if you go by the meaning, even then, if you see,
Hmm.
the first statement says that, well, uh, whenever some
It is
advertisement comes in
spoiled.
between, yeah, in my during my movie, some talk show or some drama or maybe some sports match, uh, it is kind of
Hmm.
disturbance, we can say.
Hmm.
But if you see, the second person, whosoever is giving this statement, he or she enjoys the advertisement more than the program itself.
Hmm. So it's a comparison.
Yeah, so these are two statements. In IELTS, we
Hmm.
sometimes get two statements this way, like in quotation
Okay.
marks, and we have to make it ourselves that, okay, these are two statements, right?
Okay.
Secondly, sometimes they say something like, some people say that advertisements spoil our enjoyment of today's entertainment, while on the other
Hmm.
hand, others think the adverts are often more enjoyable. So now again, these are two statements, you see?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, if you see number four, question number four,
Mm-hmm.
please read it.
Okay. So, computers allow us to stay connected with each other. However, they also encourage people not to go out and socialize.
Socialize, right? So now again, these are two statements. The first
Hmm.
statement, it is telling that, okay, computers actually help us to stay connected.
Hmm.
While the second part, has a totally different meaning. No, it isolates.
Yes.
Okay, so now these question number 4 and question number 1, actually statement number 1, statement number 2 and statement number 4, they both may have a question like this one, number B. Discuss both statements and give your own opinion.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So what about number 1 then? Most appropriate answer for number 1, it could be either D or E.
Okay.
Okay. Whenever we have a question, how realistic do you think this is? How realistic do you think this is? You know, with this kind of questions, you will get a statement which will be presented to you as a fact. Okay, like if I say, well, early marriages cause troubles in people's life. Now I'm presenting this opinion or this statement as a fact. And then I ask you, well, do you think how realistic, how realistic do you think this is? Am I right or wrong? Or in another way, I can also ask you, to what extent do you agree or disagree with this view?
Okay.
Okay, so these are, you know, D and E are most suitable answer for number 1. Like, now I'll put this statement again and I'll attach a question with it. Children have to be educated, but they also have to be allowed to learn things for themselves. How realistic do you think this is? Or to what extent do you agree or disagree with this view? Fine?
Okay.
Similarly, if you read question number 3, statement number 3 here, the world would be a happier place if we all enjoyed our work. Again, this opinion, this view has been presented as a fact.
Yes.
Like if
D.
Yeah, so again, D, how realistic do you think this is? Or to what extent do you agree or disagree with this view?
Okay.
Got it? So for number 1 and number 3, D and E are the best answers. And for number 2 and number 4, B is the best answer. Okay, now if I attach this thing with B and number 4 with B, I hope that's clear now.
Yes.
Okay, and similarly, if you know, I attach
1 and 3rd.
1
and
with B and E both, and similarly 3 would be and E both. Got it?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now, so 1 is done, 2 is done, 3 done, and 4 also done, right?
Yes.
Now read number 5.
Some countries reduce inner city traffic by increased public transport. Others impose a tax on people who drive in the city.
So what do you think? What is the most appropriate answer for this?
Reduce. A?
A, yeah. You see, these are two systems implemented in 2 different countries. 2 systems implemented by 2 different governments. One government is trying to reduce the inner city traffic by increasing the public transport, while other government is, you know, trying to limit the inner city traffic by imposing a tax on them. Okay, these are 2 different systems. So we have to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of each system, right? Sometimes in our test, sometimes, you know, we get a very similar question in which they write what are the advantages and disadvantages of each method.
Okay.
Okay, there's a difference between method and system. System is generally implemented by the organization, by the government, by the country, or some authority. Right? But methods is an optional thing which is adopted by individuals. Like if I say, some teachers, they just, you know, come in the classroom and write on the whiteboard or blackboard. And they don't interact with the students a lot. While other teachers, they, you know, keep asking the questions, they keep interacting with the students. So in that case, I can ask you, what are the advantages and disadvantages of each method? Because this is a teaching method adopted by the individual himself or herself.
Yes.
Got it? So there's a slight difference between system and method, but you may expect anything like system or method type questions. Now, last number 6. Nowadays, more people are traveling to remote places, spreading their own language and culture as a result. So, what do you think? Which question, is most appropriate for this statement? A, B, C, D, or what?
To what to what extent do you think this is a positive trend for the
Exactly.
population?
Very right. So, because I told you during your free class that whenever the word trend is used, it is either trend or progress, okay, or development,
Okay.
or development.
Okay.
These are the 3 words which are used in IELTS for to describe a change or to describe a trend. Progress.
Okay.
I hope you remember that. If you don't, please you note it down. That there are 3
Yes, sir.
different
I
words.
know.
Sorry, very similar words: trend, progress, and development. All these
Okay.
mean a change. These show a comparison
Yes,
between
sir.
past and present. Like previously, this doesn't used to happen, but now, it used to happen. And nowadays, it is happening. So in these cases, in all these questions, nowadays, these days, recent times, you will get something like that. And then people are
Okay.
traveling. Okay, people are nowadays eating more fast food, or nowadays this thing has happened. So either present continuous tense or present perfect tense will be there. Okay, and I hope you remember the exercise, or sorry, the examples that I discussed in during free class about progress and development. Progress and development doesn't mean kind of growth in economy or technology. Progress and development means a
Yes,
change.
sir.
Yeah, a situational change. Clear?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Very right. So now I'm moving to the next exercise. These are all exercises that you have already covered. I have touched upon these exercises earlier as well. But now, I will just try to fill in the gaps that which were left during the free lessons.
Okay.
Now, these are steps to plan and organize your ideas. And during our free lesson, I talked much about planning and organizing the ideas. In fact, my whole lecture was focused on that, if you remember. Okay, and in that, first thing I told you was to read the question, and based on the question, you have to make 4 pockets. Do you remember
Yes,
that?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now, in those 4, generally speaking, there are 4 pockets. We know that. The first one is intro. The second one
Yes, sir.
and the third one are the main body paragraphs, and the last
Yes,
one
sir.
is either conclusion or opinion. Right? And the center 2 body
Yes, sir.
paragraphs will be decided based on the type of the question and the statement.
Yes, sir.
Right? Sometimes we will be writing advantages in one paragraph, disadvantages in other. Sometimes we'll be writing reasons and effects. Sometimes like cause and
Advantages.
effect, right? We sometimes view 1 and view 2. Okay, so sometimes
Yes,
points
sir.
to agree, sometimes point to disagree. So these things will keep varying, keep changing according to the types of questions. Once you have decided
Okay.
what you have to write, then start thinking about the ideas related to those points. Sometimes let's say
Okay.
if there's a topic and you have decided to write advantages in this paragraph and disadvantages in this paragraph. So, you are
Okay.
thinking about an advantage, but all of a sudden, your mind stuck and you get an idea about a disadvantage. So just leave that point there and come down and note down that point about disadvantage. Okay, so ideas will keep coming in your mind randomly. Sometimes, you might be writing some or thinking of some disadvantage, but all of a sudden, an example may struck your mind about the advantage. So you will write these points randomly. Don't try to,
Okay.
force yourself to write everything in sequence. Just keep noting down the points.
Okay.
Whatever point or idea come into your mind, think of it that where you should place it, here or here.
Okay.
So note down any ideas about the topic in the respective pocket.
Okay.
Then decide on your opinion or your own position or attitude based on these points.
Okay.
Okay, like if you have gathered more points or better or stronger points for view one, so in your opinion you will agree with view one. Okay, no matter that
Yes.
that may not be your opinion in your actual life. I hope you remember that example as well. Do you remember?
Yes. So,
No, you don't.
so which example? Sorry.
There was an example about celebrations. People are not celebrating national holidays, or they are not celebrating national. They are not making national celebrations, but they are paying more attention and enjoying more on their personal occasions or events.
Yes.
No, you don't.
Yes, sir.
I hope you remember. And your first reaction was
Yes,
that
sir.
well, this is true. But once we
Hmm.
started noting down the points, you realize
Yeah.
no, that's not true.
I
Right?
have more points of
Exactly.
yeah.
Against that, you
Yes.
got more points against that opinion. So just put your general life opinion aside and keep noting down the ideas. Once you are done with 4 points for this, or 3 points for this, and 3 points or 4 points for this, then you can decide,
Hmm.
well, which points are stronger.
Okay.
Okay. In
Yes,
that,
sir.
you might be required to forget about your daily life opinion. And
Okay.
also, please ensure that you need to ensure that you have got enough ideas. Now, what does
Hmm.
this mean? Here is a very important part of the lecture, and obviously Abdurrahman will be watching this video later on. So Abdurrahman, for you as well, uh, please pay attention to this now. I had sent you some, if you remember, the answer sheets, the standard IELTS answer sheets.
Yes, sir. I have.
Okay, you have that, right. So now why I wanted you guys to write on this. Look,
Yes.
oh. Now this is task one, right? Let's think about task two right for the moment. Same applies to task one as well. Task two.
Okay.
Everybody has got a different handwriting and different font size, you can say.
Yes,
Some
sir.
people write 7 words, let's say, on each line. Okay,
Hmm.
7 words on average. If there are more longer words in any sentence or any line, they may come up to they may come to 5. Number may come to 5, but sometimes there are only very small words in, at, the, and in that case the number may go on to 9. But on average, let's say a person is writing 7 words per line.
Okay.
Okay, now can you tell me what should be total number of lines to make 250 words? I have opened calculator.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, now actually 34, 36, 35, 36, right? So 250
7, 8.
divided by 7. So
Hmm.
35, 36. That means that individual must write 36 lines.
Okay.
Okay, now if your handwriting style or writing size asks you to that word count may be 5 for your case, and in that
Hmm.
case you'll have to write more than 36 lines.
Hmm.
Okay, and if you are writing
Okay.
9 words per line, in that case obviously you will have to write maybe 32 or 30 lines in total, right? So
Hmm.
let's take an example of this
Okay.
person who writes 7 words on average per line. So he
Okay.
requires total 36 lines to make his word count to 250. Clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now, how many lines for introduction? How many lines for uh, main body paragraphs? And how many lines
Body
for
paragraph.
yeah? So generally speaking, about 5 to 6 lines are given to
Yes, sir.
introduction. Generally speaking, right? This is not a rule. This is not a rule.
Okay.
Similarly, 5 to 6 lines can be reserved for conclusion.
Okay.
Okay, so that makes 6 and 6, 12, 24 are left. So one body paragraph, 12, and the second body paragraph, 12 lines. Clear?
Okay.
So now this is, the easiest way to check that how much you should write. So
Okay.
during your practice sessions, how many lines make 36? Like 1, 2, 3,
Hmm.
4, 5, 6.
Hmm.
So apparently, when you reach, you have written this much, you should come to know that, well,
Hmm.
I have written enough for my introduction.
Okay.
Got it? Then you will leave a line here, and then you will write 12
Hmm.
lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? And then you will move to the
Okay.
next page,
Next
the back
page.
side of the page. Okay? So I'm just clearing it off, everything. Okay, let it stay there. I'll use another color for this now. Okay, so 8, then 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now you see, during your
12.
practice session, you will come to know, okay, fine. On the back side of the page, if I write 4 lines, by this time I should be moving to the next paragraph.
Hmm.
Fine. So during your practice sessions, you will exactly come to know that how much I should write, how many lines I should write. Like, you will have a rough idea. Well, once I reach this line, I'm already done with maybe 230 words or 240 words, maybe, or maybe 250 words, right?
Okay.
So practicing on this standard
Okay.
sheet should help you to get an idea that how much of the page you should cover. Okay,
Okay.
how many lines you should cover.
Yes,
So
sir.
you won't be required to count again and
Okay.
again. Got it? Is that point clear, or shall I repeat it?
Hmm.
No. Clear?
No, sir. I'm getting you.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir. Clear, clear.
Right, right. So now you know that 6 lines for introduction, 12 lines for first body
Hmm.
paragraph, let's say 12 lines for next body paragraph, and then 6 lines for conclusion.
Yes.
So to write 12 lines, how many points you should have in your pocket?
Points at least 4 to 5.
At least 3. Okay,
Okay.
sometimes even 2 are enough,
That's
right?
good.
Actually, what will happen that if you
Okay,
have
sir.
2 points, let's say, topic is such that you are unable to gather more points, so you will expand on your point.
Okay.
You will not just write that watching TV causes obesity problem,
Hmm.
or watching TV causes diabetes problem, right? You will not just write it in one single sentence. In that, you will try to expand it. Like, watching TV for longer duration may cause, or may give some very negative impact on a person's health. You will expand this idea.
Okay.
For example, one of the main issues that as a doctor I have witnessed is
Okay.
diabetes among people who watch more TV for longer times, or they with very little, they move themselves very little. Fine. So what you are doing, you are just trying to expand the same point over 3 to 4 lines.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. So, generally speaking, if you have three points, 3 ideas with 1 example, Okay, that should be enough to make your
Okay.
12 lines. How?
Okay, sir.
How? Like
By expanding your.
by expanding. Yes, even if you don't expand, this should be enough. You know what happens? The first line, the
Hmm.
first line is a preamble line. Like you would say, first of all, we will discuss, or let's consider the advantages. So we have not covered any advantage so
Hmm.
far, but we have written one line.
Yes.
Okay, and similarly,
Yes.
once you will move to the next paragraph, you will see beside these advantages, there are
On
also
that.
certain disadvantages. Fine. So
Yes.
again, there will be one line. So one is done.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Similarly, about
Hmm.
for one idea. Now think
Okay.
of any idea about any topic, right? And you will see that you can write
Hmm.
at least 3 lines for that. Your one sentence will go up to,
Okay.
you see, up till this much size. This is a general length
Okay.
of a sentence, isn't it? You have written some passages so
Okay.
far, and you know that at least 2.5 lines or 3 lines are covered against one point. Getting it?
Okay.
And then you will give one example. Again, that
Yes, sir.
example could be of 2 lines, maybe 3 lines. Let's say now this is
Hmm.
example is done. Then you will start the second point. Again, 2 or 3 lines for
Okay.
that. You see? So this way, on average,
Hmm.
each point will get 3 lines. That means 9 lines for this.
Hmm.
Okay, 9, or you may say 8 lines for this. Let's say 2.5 lines for one point, and that makes
Hmm.
about 8 lines for this, and 2 lines or 3 lines, 2.5 lines for this. For
Hmm.
example, that makes right, and then one preamble line. So that
Okay.
makes your 12 lines.
Okay.
Okay, in case you have got
Yes, sir.
more than 3 points, then you don't have to stretch your
Hmm.
ideas. 3 points with
Okay.
one statements are good enough, with one example are good enough. And in case if you are lucky,
Okay.
and there is your ideas are just coming in your mind out of nowhere, in that case, you don't
Hmm.
need to stretch your ideas.
Okay.
So summing up, on average, remember, for main body paragraphs,
Hmm.
you have to write 10 to 12 lines, depending upon
Yes.
how many words you write in your, one line.
One line. Okay.
Yeah, this is you who will decide or who will figure it out during your practice sessions. Okay, like here,
Yes.
uh,
Yes, sir.
let me show you one thing. Sorry, I'm closing it now, and I'll come back.
Okay, sir.
Mm, Now, where is this? Is Shwala Bluch? Right. Shall I open it?
Yes.
No, sir. Just a minute. Just a minute. It's opening, opening, and opening. Why it is taking? Right. Now, if you see how many words you write in a sentence, in one line. 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Your slides are blurred. Blur.
That means your internet is slow.
Wait a second, sir. I'm checking my phone. Okay, now it is clear.
That's right. Right. So
Yes, sir. 1, 2, 3, 4,
7,
5, 6, 7.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Yes.
Right? And 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19,
Hmm.
20. So 20 words in 3 lines.
Hmm.
That means you're writing on
Yes.
average 6.5 words almost. So let's take it 6 words. That means more number of lines.
Hmm.
Fine?
Okay, sir.
So it depends how many lines you
Hmm.
write. So, during your practice sessions, you should exactly
Okay.
know that, okay, for task
Hmm.
one, how many lines I have to write on the back side of the page, which will make 150 words.
Hmm.
Clear? Similarly, for task 2,
Okay.
you should know that how many words I need to complete
Hmm.
250 words.
Yes.
So now let's move back to our original topic and see why I came here. The last point here was step 1, step
Okay.
2, step 3, and step 4. Check that you have enough ideas. That means if you don't have enough ideas, it means you have to
Hmm.
write longer sentences now. Either you find out some
Yes.
idea, or in a, or other way, otherwise you'll have to stretch your ideas.
Yes.
Okay, now let's see. First point is make pockets according to the question type. It is important to produce a balanced answer that looks at both sides of the questions equally. Some tutors and
Okay.
some books, they recommend you to just write one side. But in my opinion, and as per
Hmm.
Cambridge book, this is not recommended. Like, you know, if there's a topic,
Okay.
that do you agree or disagree, right from the beginning, they write
Hmm.
only about the agree thing. Got it?
Okay.
They don't discuss the points in favor of disagree at all. But is you know, for them, writing 250 words is a big
Hmm.
deal.
Yes.
So it's always better to produce a balanced response by covering both the sides equally. Similarly, you need
Hmm.
to organize your ideas into separate paragraphs accordingly. We have already discussed it. Your
Hmm.
answer will also
Yes,
mark
sir.
on coherence. Are your ideas clearly linked? To help group your
Hmm.
ideas together logically, make notes under different headings that show both sides of the discussion. I hope you know that. We will make two pockets
Okay.
and we will write points for that, right? These can
Yes,
then
sir.
form middle paragraphs of your answer. Now,
Sir,
let's,
okay. So in
yeah, yeah.
exam, do we have a extra sheet
No, you
on
don't
which
have.
we can
No,
write
no, no, no. You
both
don't
views?
have. You don't have. And you don't have to write in this way, like this much planned and organized way. Okay, what you
Oh,
do that
okay. Okay.
on the back side, lower back side of the task 1 page, generally goes spare.
Okay.
Okay, so what you do,
Oh,
write
yes.
points
Yes, sir.
here in
Yes.
pencil. If you get time, you can erase it. And if
Okay.
you don't get time, just cross it.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
like if I tell you
Okay.
task 1
Oh, sir,
for task.
I have one more question.
Mhm. Okay,
Okay,
okay.
and sir, in writing exam, we have to write on pencil or pen?
Okay, I'll come to this. Please let me conclude this thing. Let's say I'm sorry. I'll come to this, right?
Okay.
Now
Okay.
let's say this is task
No, no,
1
it's
answer
okay,
sheet.
sir.
Okay, task 1 answer sheet. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there will be some place to write your name and
Okay.
number, and low side will be left for the examiner. So this much part you can write this
Yes,
much.
sir.
Okay, and on the reverse side, if you see,
Okay.
you can write from the first line here, 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 but the lower
Mm-hmm.
portion will be used by the examiner. So what you can do, you know, your 150 words generally complete at this level.
Okay.
Now you can, you know, plan your essay here somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, in this portion, this one,
Okay,
and
sir.
then you know you can erase it at the end. Now, once I say erasing,
Okay, sir.
it means you can use
Yes.
pencil
Yes,
for
sir.
for
Yes.
for actually for listening and reading. Pencil is compulsory.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot use pen for reading
Okay.
and listening. For writing, it's optional.
Okay, sir.
Either you can use pencil or you
Okay.
can use pen.
Mm-hmm.
I generally recommend that you write in pencil, not in pen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because you know you can erase things later on if you
Yes, sir.
want.
Easy to erase.
Yeah, but for that you
Yes,
have to
all right.
practice using pencil during these days now.
Hmm.
Because you know, all of a sudden, if you start writing with pencil on the
Okay,
exam
sir.
day, it may be a trouble for you. So during your practice session, use pencil, right?
All right.
Right. So now I'm moving forward. Like this is the topic. Children have to be educated, but again, same. done things for themselves. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So for this, we will make 4 pockets: intro, conclusion, or opinion, points related agree, points related disagree. If you remember, we will make such 4 pockets.
Okay. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Then start noting down any ideas about the topic. Another assessment, and for that, you have to cover both the sides. To achieve a good task response score, you must explain your own opinion on the topic. Support your opinion with personal examples or your knowledge of the word. We have covered these things, right? Include only relevant ideas. You will get marks for irrelevant ideas and write 250 words. So,
Yes, sir.
what you will do now, these are 9 points about this topic. Okay, the topic is written in the bottom. The internet allows us to stay connected. I want you to read through this topic again, and then we will discuss these 9 points one by one. Okay, first read the question loudly, please. The internet
Okay.
allows us.
The internet allows us to stay connected with each other no matter no matter where we are.
Go ahead.
People
Hello?
not to socialize.
Okay, fine. You were disconnected somehow. I guess there's some problem with the internet then. Right. So
Yes,
on the other
sir.
hand,
I think this is.
so okay, just let me know if you are unable to listen to me, right? To what extent do you agree or
No, no,
disagree?
sir. I'm.
Mhm.
Sir, I'm able to. You can say I can clearly listen to you, but I think there is some screen blurring, which is
Okay,
sometime
fine. Yeah.
happening. But
Okay, you can
I
use
think.
your notes for that, but I guess this is because of slow internet connection.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
So, to
Okay.
what extent do you agree or disagree with this? So, this person, this candidate, whosoever has written these points, has written 9 points. You have to tell me which of these 4 points are irrelevant. Like first point,
Okay,
instant.
sir. Sir, wait a second.
Slide number 10.
Wait a second, sir.
Yeah. Slide number
Yes.
10. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, got it.
Okay.
So
Instant
number one
communication.
point is instant communication means that it is difficult to escape from work. Okay.
Do you think this is relevant to the
It is
topic?
difficult to escape from work. No, sir. No.
Okay, this point is actually tricky. I will tell you. I'll explain this point. Move forward now to the next point.
Okay. The internet makes it easier to do your homework. Yes.
So, do you think this is related to the topic?
No, sir, because they are just asking for the, you can say, related to question, but they mentioned in
Yeah. Internet,
this
the use of internet related to
beforehand.
connectivity only. But this point
Yes.
is talking about the homework thing. So, number 2 is irrelevant, right? You see, he is
Third
talking.
is in.
Yeah. Okay, next.
Okay. So in my company, computer have replaced many stuff and have caused more unemployment. No, irrelevant.
Irrelevant. Yeah, it has to do nothing with the connectivity, right? Okay, next.
A friend of mine uses a social networking site a great deal, but we rarely see her. Okay, so it is relevant.
It is relevant about socializing and isolation thing. Okay, this 4 is done. Next.
Yes, sir. Next is virtual friends made on the internet cannot be compared to our actual friends and family. So this is irrelevant.
Actually, this is
There is.
just in connection with the previous point. For example, a friend of mine uses a social
Okay, so
networking
this
site a
is.
great deal more, but we rarely see her. If I want to add that, well, she doesn't realize that virtual friends made on the internet cannot be compared to our actual friends and family. So apparently
So
she
yes,
might
it could
be,
be.
yeah, apparently she might be socializing, but actually she has gone into isolation.
Yes.
Fine. So this way it is relevant.
Okay.
Next.
Okay. Next is I learned to type using a computer program. These programs make it easy to understand computers and make learning fun. Irrelevant.
Irrelevant, yeah. You see, actually what happens whenever we start thinking about the topic, we, after some time, it is a general tendency that we lose focus of the topic itself. Okay. And you know, in our mind, computers will come and we will start writing anything about computers or internet. But here we only have to write about internet. And in that too, we only have to write about connectivity, not like homework or Google or something. Okay. So this is irrelevant.
Okay.
What about number 7?
Okay. My cousin traveled for a year but kept in touch with his family every day. So it is relevant
It is relevant,
by
yeah. Stay
using
connected
internet.
wherever he is.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
With more and more with more and more technological advance, our society will continue to develop faster and faster. Faster and faster. Irrelevant?
Irrelevant, yeah. We are not talking about the technology advancements here. We are
Yes.
just talking about the internet here.
No.
Okay, next.
Yes, sir. Through the internet, we can share memories with people who are far away, so it is relevant.
It is relevant, right? So number 9 is relevant. And now about number 1. Actually, you will see an essay written by this student towards the end of our lectures. Not today, maybe after 2 or 3 days, right?
Okay.
And then you will realize why this person has, written this point here. So instant communication, actually, like text messages, emails, what does it mean? It means that over weekends, my boss can just send me an email. I'm on holidays, I'm on vacation, or it's a weekend. He or she will send me an email and give me some task. Okay, so what happens that I will just lock myself in my room and start working for my boss. That means this internet facility, this email facility has actually isolated me from my family.
Yes.
Because I'm available for my boss, my company, my organization all the time now. Even if I have planned a very good fun trip, maybe to some other city, and I'm on vacation, but my boss is, continuously pinging me all the time. Getting it? So that,
Yes, sir.
so what will happen that although I will be, physically I'll be there sitting with my family, but virtually I'll be, away. I'll be lost. I'll be involved in my office work. Just like some people sitting in front of you, but using Facebook. They don't talk to you, but they are talking to virtual friends, right? Got it? So
Yes,
this
sir.
this point is written in this context, so it is relevant. So now I'm moving forward, and we'll see some other things.
Okay.
Now decide on your own position or attitude. I've told you the final part of the question is very important. It tells you what you must include in your answer. If you remember, I told you that there are 3 points or 3 parts of IELTS writing task 2. The first point is 1 or 2 statements. The second point, tells you what you have to do with those statements: agree, disagree, advantage, disadvantage, whatever. And the last part tells you what you have to include. And in that, there's a standard format. If you remember, what is that format? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge. Now, this is the third part of the question, and this is a standard part, right? It comes as it is.
Okay.
Next.
Okay.
So this tells you that what you have to include, and generally your own opinion about the statements, the reasons for your opinion, and some relevant examples or from personal experience, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next, look at these statements and answer. I'll ask you what is your opinion on that, right? It's a practice session actually to start thinking about the opinions. Like if I ask you, children have to be educated, but they also have to be allowed to learn things for themselves. How much you agree with this?
Mm-hmm.
With the first statement, this one, for this one, how much you agree with
Sir,
this?
sir, 80%.
Actually, that is not the way, sorry. That is not the way of saying the things. You can say, I agree to some
Okay.
extent, I fully agree, or partially
Okay.
agree. Okay?
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, sorry.
But you
Okay,
will
so,
explain this thing later on in the next slides. Not next slides, in the
okay.
coming. Right.
Okay. Children have to be educated, but they also have to allow to learn things.
Okay, let me do first example for you. For example, you can say, like if I take your
Okay.
80% thing, and from that I can say somewhat, uh, well, although I agree to it to a great extent, uh, like we must
Mm-hmm.
give chances to our children to learn things from themselves by making some mistakes. You know, we will not be always be there for them. You know, will to guide them actually. Obviously, ultimately, they have to become an active member of the society. So they have to take decisions at their own.
Mm-hmm.
So why not to teach them
Mm-hmm.
this learn or learn them or allow them to learn the things at their own right from the beginning. Now, broadly speaking, I agree
Okay.
with this, but I have one reservation on that. Or you can say I have one, uh, observation about that, or one concern about that. And what is that? My concern is that, well,
Mm-hmm.
if we just set them openly and we leave them at their own, there's a chance that they may make such a big blunder, you know, which is
Mm-hmm.
irreversible. We just can't undo that then.
Okay.
So that means by making
Mm-hmm.
one that single mistake, you know, they may
Mm-hmm.
suffer throughout their lives. So we always have to
Okay.
be there in supervisory role. Although just let them make mistakes, let them learn at their own, but keep an eye on them. So you can say, I agree with it,
Hmm.
with, you know, I partially agree with
Okay.
it, or to the most extent, I agree,
Mm-hmm.
right? Getting it?
Okay.
This is what 80% means.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, no, I was just thinking you are asking
Okay, I understand that.
my opinion. Okay, sir.
Okay,
Got
for
it.
number 3,
Okay.
the world would be a happier place
Okay.
if
The
we all
world would
enjoyed
be a
our life.
happier.
How much you agree
Hello?
with this? Yeah, hello? Are you there?
Yeah, hello.
Okay, yeah, I'm
Yes,
waiting for your
sir.
answer. I'm waiting
Are
for
you
your answer.
getting me?
How much you agree with this?
Okay. 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 I completely agree with this statement.
Uh-huh. Why?
Hello. Sir, are you listening? Okay. So, because as we can say, we all enjoyed our work. If we enjoy our, you can say, work, then it will be easier to do all the, you can say, difficult task,
Uh-huh. So is that only
and
good?
it is less stressful
Uh-huh.
for the, you can say.
Okay, fine.
So
If I
it,
ask you, is work only issue that causes unhappiness or trouble in the life?
Work is
I
the
mean,
only issue that
yeah,
is
like if
that
I'm
is the
good,
reason of unhappiness.
yeah, if I have, you know, my work is going
No,
good, but I
I
have a
partially
problematic.
agree, sir.
Yeah, no, I don't. I didn't want to negate you. You're right. Okay, I just want to give you another opinion. That's it. Okay. In IELTS exam test,
Okay,
even if you
sir.
write "I fully agree" and you justify it through the argument which you have written in your, you know, answer,
Hmm?
that's pretty fine. So if you agree fully,
All
try to,
right.
you know,
Hmm.
produce some points which show that, well, this is 100% true. Got it?
Okay.
Right. There might be another
Okay,
student
sir.
who may go against it, this idea. Whatever you have said,
Hmm.
you have said, I completely agree. You may get 9
Hmm.
band. And another person who said that I completely disagree, even he or she can get 9 band. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hmm.
Next, number 6.
Nowadays, more people are traveling to remote places, spreading their own language and culture as a result. Spreading their own language. Because it number one, it is you can say time wasting.
Sorry. Do you
Hello.
agree with this? Do
Sir,
you agree?
partially agree. I would say
Uh-huh.
no,
Why?
sir. I'm not agree.
Mm-hmm.
I am disagree to this statement because it is time consuming
What?
to go to the remote place and spread their culture
Again, read it. Again, read it.
own language. Wait a second, sir.
Nowadays,
Nowadays, more
now,
people are traveling to
yeah,
remote places, spreading their own.
they are not saying you to
Okay,
go
so
and spread your language and
spreading
culture.
their.
They are saying that nowadays this is a general trend that people go in other countries for higher studies, for jobs. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
So
you know
we
this is,
are. They are
yeah.
asking
So
me
actually,
both statement.
sorry.
Yes, I mean, they are. You can say mention a trend
I tried in
nowadays.
that. Yeah. So this thing is happening. Now you tell me, is it correct that, you know, because people are traveling to other countries, so culture is also being spread?
So I think on culture, I would say no. But
Mhm.
yes, more people are traveling to remote places for their, you can say,
For studies and for
for
so
their
as
studies,
a
for
result, what is
yeah,
happening?
exactly, for their career.
What do you think? Because they are traveling, can you comment on,
Mm-hmm.
is this helping in spreading their language and culture or no?
No, sir.
Why? Explain me. So that means you don't agree with it, right?
Hmm.
So now give me the points. Why don't you agree?
Oh, because, sir, they are traveling to remote places, number one, due to their career.
Uh-huh.
Okay, due to you can say study. So most of the time they can travel to their respective country or city, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they are not spreading their own language and culture in that country or place where they are working or where they are studying.
Mm-hmm.
Number
Like, what
one
do you
point,
think?
and
What do you
number
think?
two
Okay,
is
let me explain you. Wait, please. It doesn't mean that, you know, if they are going for job or if they are going to settle there, they will not do anything else. Okay, people in the
sir.
community.
Sorry, your voice.
Okay, okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Let me explain you again. This statement doesn't
Okay.
say that if you are going to, you know, you're going for higher studies in some university. So don't you think you will live in
Hmm.
a hostel there? You will make friends over there. Okay, and
Hmm.
You know, sometimes
Okay.
on your special days like Eid, maybe during Ramadan, maybe, okay, or during some
Mm.
family marriages, or maybe, you know, other events, you will
Oh
you know, you
yes,
will
yes, sir.
just invite them over there,
Hmm.
and you know, obviously they will learn what dresses you wear on these days, which dishes you eat, and then you will explain certain other points, right? It doesn't mean
Hmm.
that you are going there only to spread your
Yes,
culture.
sir.
Got it? So now let's say this was the argument that was in favor. But
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
let's say if you want to go
Hmm.
against it, then how you will put this thing?
Hmm.
In that case, I would say, let's say I want to say that no, I don't agree with this. That's it. Okay. Then what are the points?
Hmm.
I would say that with the globalization effect, because which is caused by the internet, now people,
Hmm.
you know, already know each different cultures and languages, maybe, and everyone is actually coming to a single agreed upon language and culture. For example, if I travel to any part of the Europe or US or UK or Canada or Australia, most of the time
Hmm.
I will be using English as a common language.
Hmm.
So I'll not spread my own local language over there. Most of the time, you know, we have
Hmm.
already on internet, we keep communicating with each other, and we hardly use, you know, our local
Hmm.
language. Most of the time, we use standard language that is English for that,
Hmm.
right?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, I will just, whenever I'll go to Europe, I will adopt their culture. I will be wearing a shirt, a jeans, maybe a t-shirt and a jeans.
Hmm.
So what happens?
Exactly.
What
Okay.
is happening nowadays, because of the globalization effect, whole world is coming on
Hmm.
one single language and one single culture. Throughout the world, wherever
Hmm.
you would, you know, look at a student, an image will come into your mind, and that image would be wearing a t-shirt with a jeans trouser,
Hmm.
okay, with a laptop in
Yes.
hand or a tablet in hand, with
Hmm.
some bag on the back.
Hmm.
So now this is a standard, you know,
Okay.
outlook of any student. They will be talking about the same thing.
Hmm.
Okay, over weekends they will be hanging out, right? And you know, sometimes they will be calling or ordering some pizza. You know, everything is coming as a standard throughout the world. And most of the people who go to other countries, they adopt their culture rather than spreading their own. Got it? Are you there?
Okay.
Okay. So now you see that I have, if I want to disagree with this, I will give these points, whatever I have discussed now. But if I will agree with this,
Hmm.
I will give the points that you said earlier,
Yes, sir.
right? So it depends what comes in
Okay.
your mind on that day.
Okay.
Again, one correction I want to make. You said I am agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now for
Mm-hmm.
agree, we use I am agreed. Whenever you will
Agreed.
use am
Okay.
is mr, then you will use agreed with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a passive voice form.
Okay,
I
sir.
am agreed.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Never say I
Okay.
am agree. But if you want to say
Okay.
without ed, then you would say I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. You don't say I am agree.
Okay,
Now
sir.
there's few points I want to make here. Like
Okay.
let me start writing here. Let's say you said I am agree. This is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Clear?
Okay. Okay.
Now the correct form is I am agreed.
Hmm.
Okay, and if you don't want to use agreed, then you would say I agree.
I agree. Okay.
Clear? So first one is wrong.
Okay.
Next two are correct. Now one more
Okay, sir.
point. Next, one more point.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain other things I agree to, agree with,
Agree to the statement.
and agree with, and there's one more, agree on. Right.
Hmm.
These three things are used differently. Like when I say I agree, I don't mention the object with what thing I agree. In that case, that's fine. I will not
Hmm.
use with, to, or on.
Hmm.
I will use agree
Hmm.
with someone's opinion, with someone,
Okay.
okay, or with someone's opinion,
Okay.
or suggestion, right? Like you gave me an
Okay.
opinion, and I would say, well, I agree with you. In that case, agree with someone.
Hmm.
I agree with you,
Hmm.
or I agree with your
Okay.
idea, or your suggestion, or your opinion.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Okay.
Now,
Yes, sir.
so I'll give you two examples here. Like for someone, I agree with you. Now, okay, and for some opinion, I agree
Hmm.
with your opinion.
Hmm.
Correct?
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
agree to. Agree to is generally
Hmm.
used when we, against, when I say against, not in response of some request, right? For example, I requested my boss to give me short leave, let's say, that day, right?
Hmm.
Initially, he refused, but then he agreed to it.
Hmm.
So here we have used word to, agreed to,
Hmm.
and agreed to means
Okay.
in response of some request.
Okay, sir.
Got it? One last thing, agreed on.
Okay.
It is
Hmm.
used, when there, when consensus, sorry for the spelling, have been reached. For example,
Hmm. Okay.
my friends initially didn't agree to my suggestions of going by train. But after some debate, we all agreed on it.
Hmm.
Fine. So this is important to know. This is a common mistake. People say, I am agree. This is a passive voice form. And in passive voice form, you always use the third form. Like I am agreed.
Yeah.
He is agreed. Okay.
Okay.
But if you don't want to use
Hmm.
passive voice and you want to talk in present tense, in that case, I would say I agree. He agreed. Now here I've used word
Okay.
agreed. Can you see somewhere? Yeah, here. He agreed. I'm talking in the past now. That's why I've used agreed. He agreed, right? My boss first, refused,
Okay.
but then he agreed. So this is because of past tense. Now with agree, we use three things: agree with, agree to, or
Okay.
agree on. And I have given you three different situations. in which you will use either with, to, or in, to or on. Clear?
Okay.
Right. Shall I move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, decide on your own opinion. We have covered this exercise, so I'm moving forward. Decide on your opinion about this topic, internet and blah, blah. Okay? You can write it later on. Let's have a look on the next slide first.
Okay.
Now, if you remember, we dropped some points out of these 9 ideas. Do you remember that? Number 2
Yes,
was
sir.
dropped. Number 3 was dropped. Then number 6 was dropped. And then number 8 was dropped, right? So what do you think? We have got 2 statements in that topic. One statement says that internet helps us to stay connected. This was one main body paragraph, okay? The other statement was that internet isolates us. So I have to write something about this and some points about this. So can you tell me, leave number 1 for the time being. I'll talk about this later on again. Number 4, a friend of mine uses a social, yeah, sorry.
No, sir, continue. I'm
So what do
listening.
you think? What do you think? Where I should place it? In this paragraph or in this
Sir,
paragraph?
isolate.
A friend of mine uses a social network site a great deal, but very good. So 4 will come here, right?
Yes.
What about number 5?
5 virtual friends made on
Again,
internet
this is
cannot be
in connection
compared
to the
to our.
same point.
Yes.
Same point, right?
Yes.
Okay, what about
Okay.
7?
7, my cousin traveled for a year, but yes, so it is help to us stay connected. So it is towards the, you can say,
4,
statement.
4. Yeah, so number 7 will come here, right?
Mm.
Okay, then number 9.
Through the internet, we can share memories. So yes, it
Connectivity
will
again.
like yes,
Number 9.
it helps us.
Okay. Now let's talk about first point.
Hmm.
Instant communication means that it is difficult to escape from work.
Yeah.
Actually,
So
there,
isolate.
there are 2 ways to look at this. The
Okay.
first way is to, if I am a boss, I am
Hmm.
the organization, then
Hmm.
I would say that internet is such a helpful tool that I can stay connected with my employees even on weekends.
Yes, sir.
So in that case, it will come in this point, under this one.
Exactly.
But here,
Yes.
the last sentence is saying that it is difficult to escape from the work. It means it is being stated as a negative here. So as a
Hmm.
negative means my boss will email me over weekend, and then, I may not be able to spend time with my family.
Hmm.
So that means I will be isolated with my family. So here in this particular scenario, the candidate who has written this point has written here with the intention to include it in the isolation part.
Hmm.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Now, if here we have got 3 points and here we have got 2 points only.
Hmm.
So I would recommend you to keep a balance generally speaking. Okay, if you can think of a balanced response, it's always good, right?
Okay.
But if you don't, then even then you can move forward, right? So now these are the answers. 7 and 9 are here. 1, 2, 4, 1, 4, 5 are here. Okay. So now check that you have enough ideas. So I've just told you that ideally speaking, you should have 3 ideas. That is the best thing you can do. Okay.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so what
To
you
do
can do,
okay.
you can just start writing and leave 1
Okay.
or 2 lines in the second paragraph. It is quite possible
Okay.
that towards the end of
Hmm.
your essay, you may get
Hmm.
any idea may come into your mind.
Hmm. Okay.
So it will become a balanced response. And even if it doesn't
Hmm.
come, at least you can submit your answer as it is.
Okay.
Okay, instead of wasting time, just go with
Hmm.
it. So
Okay.
It's always better to have an idea how many points do you have, and according to those points, accordingly
Hmm.
you need to expand on your ideas and expand on your example.
Hmm.
If you remember, I told you during our free lesson that if I have
Hmm.
got 5 examples in my mind,
Hmm.
so I would say watching TV for longer duration may cause many health problems. For example, now let's say I have got
Hmm.
many examples in my mind. Then I
Hmm.
will say obesity, high cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressures, and eyesight issues, as well as certain psychotic disorders.
Hmm.
Right? So
Hmm.
because I had too many points, I have written them all separated by comma.
Hmm.
But let's say if I would have got only 1 point or one
Hmm.
disease in my mind, okay,
Hmm.
and let's say that is high blood pressure. So I would say,
Okay.
for example, one of my cousins who most of the time spend time sitting in front of TV, I'm just
Hmm.
expanding it now,
Okay.
has gained his weight tremendously, and recently he was diagnosed with high blood pressure
Okay.
at this early age or so on. So now what I have done, I have expanded one single example on 3 lines.
Hmm.
Got it? So check
Yes,
your
sir.
ideas. How many ideas do you have? Accordingly, just set up, plan for yourself that do you need to expand on your answers, or you have to write them briefly, precisely. Clear?
Okay. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
right. So now, which side of the argument you need to add more ideas? If you remember, we had 2 ideas
Hmm.
again, in favor of connectivity of the internet,
Hmm.
and we had got 3 ideas against the connectivity. That means isolation.
Yes, so I would go against or disagree with
Let's agree
with
with
this
that. Fine.
statement.
That's fine. But if I ask you to add one more idea in the left side, on the left hand side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you would do,
Okay.
which idea you will choose from A and B? Which one?
But okay, wait a second. The business world benefits from the immediate contact provided by the internet. The internet has both advantage and disadvantage. A.
Yeah, because B is covering both the points. So I would go with A.
Yes.
So if I add
Hmm.
this point, if you remember,
Hmm.
now let me go back. My cousin traveled through the internet. We can share memories. No, all these activities are related to personal lives.
Hmm.
These both
Yes.
points are related. One is kind of example. Number 9 is the main point, and number 7 is
Hmm.
the sporting example of this point. Main point is through the
Hmm.
internet we can share memories with people who are far away. For example, one of
Hmm.
my cousins traveled for a year and so on. So this is
Hmm.
one point. One is the sporting example. So, and
Hmm.
this point is about personal life. But if I add this
Yes.
idea, the business world would benefit from that. You see, now I'm also giving one business, or you can
Hmm.
say professional point as well.
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
we can also, you can say, communicate to a doctor.
Yeah. Yes.
Also,
You can.
yeah, through internet. We can
Yeah.
also communicate, you can say, to a
And,
teacher, or
and,
we can learn
and
many
I,
things by
I
this
want to ask
communication.
you, I want to ask certain things from you after the class. I'm
Okay.
okay. I'm feeling some pain in the arm, so I'm just fearful of the heart attack too much, right? Somehow, because I've seen 2 incidents very close to me. So I'll talk on this later on towards the end. I
Mhm.
want to get a clarity, please, right?
Okay, sir. Sure, sure,
Okay,
sir.
because it's
Sure.
been third or fourth night that I couldn't sleep because of fear. Somehow, diseases have obsessed.
Mhm.
I'm obsessed of these things now because of my illness for long period.
Mhm.
Somehow, they really torture me actually. And anyways, now getting started writing an introduction. Once you
Mhm.
have your ideas planned
Mhm.
out, you can begin to write. Your answer must be clearly developed, and so it needs a clear start.
Mhm.
The best way to start is by restating the question in your own words, and what we call it, paraphrase. Do you remember
Yes.
that? Okay. So you
Yes,
will lose
sir.
marks if you copy your words from the question. make sure to paraphrase the ideas. Clear?
Okay.
Do not learn whole answers and expect to use them in the exam. You will receive a very low score if you do this. You know, if you will try to put the whole answer, many students, they, you know, memorize the whole essay. What they do, even I can send you a file on various topics. Like many IELTS trainers, they provide such for files in which, you know, they have written 150 topics, some essays or some points on 150 topics, and they ask the students to memorize it and just, you know, write it in the exam. Actually, that's not good. What you have to do, you have to adapt, not adopt. I hope you remember that.
Yes,
So
sir.
you can read those points. You know, it will help you to gather more and more points in the exams. If you know you have gone through some topic, so you know that topic won't give you any surprises in the exam. It's better to read those points, but don't try to memorize and write them as it is. You can memorize the phrases or some parts of the sentence,
Yes.
right? Candidates who receive a
Okay.
high score in writing are able to show flexible use of language instead of writing as it is. They, you know, they are flexible in their writing. So once you have restated the question, the first step was that you paraphrase it. Once you are done with the paraphrasing line, then you have got four options. These four options. I want you to,
Okay.
you know, in our free class, I taught you only two of these options, if you remember. And which one were those?
Yes, sir.
Number 2 and number 3. Explain what you intend to write
Yes.
about, means what you are going to write in the next paragraphs and say it indirectly. And number 3, give a brief
Yes.
reaction or brief opinion, one-liner. So I told you to use only these 2 and 3 in the exam, in our free class. And here I will teach you all 4 of these methods. But still, I say
Yes, sir.
that please, unless you are sure about other 2, please don't try to jump in this, right? Restrict yourself
Okay.
to only 2 and 3. Point number 2 and point number 3.
Okay.
Okay, like
Okay.
these 2 are easiest, and you know they fit in almost all of the topics. But this
Okay.
1 and 4 are tricky, a little bit tricky.
Okay.
Like, now let me explain number 1. Let's say my topic is that some people say that children should be given a choice to choose their career, while others think that this choice should be made by parents and teachers. And now I ask you, give your opinion. Okay? So in that
Yes.
case, you know, in your introduction, after writing the paraphrase form, you may write something that, well, in this topic or in this, statement, the word choice is very critical. And this defines or this answers the query that whether children should be given a choice or parents should make this decision. When you say use the word choice, it means nobody else can impose his or her decision on you. This
Okay.
is one's individual's own choice. So this one word is very crucial,
Okay.
right? So, you know, in
Okay.
your introduction, you can write something like that.
Hmm.
That in this topic,
Okay.
in this, word choice is very important, and this, you know, resolves the query very easily. So the first technique is give your interpretation of the words or ideas used in the question. Like in this question, we use or we gave an interpretation of the word choice. Is this point clear, or shall I explain it again?
No, no, sir.
Clear. Are you
It is
tired?
clear.
Are you tired?
Yeah.
Huh?
No, 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 sir.
Okay,
I
shall I
have
continue?
written well.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. That's great. Okay. So Give your interpretation of the words or ideas, but as I have told you that, you know, it's very tricky to use. Okay, like if I talk
Yes,
in
sir.
our own language, Abdurrahman, please excuse me for this, but if we talk in our own language, you know, and we talk about a very famous poet, Allama Iqbal, right? And we say that उनकी शायरी में अगर आपको लफ्ज खुद ही समझ आ जाए तो आपको उनका पैगाम समझ आ जाएगा. So what we are doing in that, we are just interpreting one word from that whole topic. We are giving an interpretation of that word. Okay, so this is one way. Another way is to summarize the question or topic through a new question. This one, number 4. Are you there? Are you awake? Cheer up. Wake up.
Okay.
Are you there?
Yes, I am awake.
I'm feeling as if one of your friends is with you and
Wait.
she is just
And
torturing.
alert.
Okay. No?
Hello?
Hello? Yeah,
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Sir, I can't hear you.
Okay, let me reconnect. I'm saving this and I'll reconnect, right? Hello, are you
Hello?
there? Okay, are you back?
Yes, sir. Now it is clear. Yes.
Okay, fine, fine. So you got disconnected actually for a while.
Yeah.
Right. So we were at this point and I was talking about this number 4. Okay, there are 4
Yes, sir.
things that you can include. And just a minute, it's showing some message. Let me check which message is this. Please move this window away from the shared application. Why? What is this? Okay. Can you see my screen? No, you cannot.
No, sir.
You cannot, right? Still you can't?
No.
Okay. Okay, wait a minute. So I hope you can see it now. So I was telling you that in the first part of the introduction, you have to paraphrase. In the second part, I mean, next to that paraphrased line, you have got 4 options. And within those 4 options, the first number 1 option and number 4 options are tricky.
Okay.
I gave you one example of number 1. Now I will give you an example of number 4. Let's say, take the same idea, same topic that we have seen in the previous slide. That was about internet. Let me check where it is. Just a minute, please. This one. Now, the internet allows us to stay connected with each other no matter where we are. On the other hand, it also isolates us and encourages people not to socialize. Let's say I have paraphrased it in my own words, and then I will write a sentence like, now the question arises that is internet a tool of connectivity or disconnectivity?
Okay.
So now this question which I have added, which I have raised here, this question is summing up the whole question actually.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Right? So this is another way that you can, use, or another method that you can use to write 1 or 2 sentences after your paraphrased version.
Yes.
But again, number 1 and number 4, as I told you, particularly the
Yes,
number
sir.
1, that is quite tricky.
Yes,
Number
sir.
2 and number 3,
Exactly.
yeah, number 2 and number 3 are easier. But you can attempt number 4 as well
Yeah.
in some cases. Okay.
Yes, sir. It is quite interesting.
Yeah, it was quite interesting, exactly.
Yeah.
But you have to be very careful that you sum up the
Yeah.
whole idea, not just one aspect of the topic. That
Okay.
question should sum up the whole idea.
All right.
Right. So next, explain what you intend to write about. We have already discussed it during
Hmm.
our free lesson. That try to do it
Yes, sir.
indirectly, if you remember.
Hmm.
Tell that what you are going to write in the next paragraph and give a brief reaction to the question. Again, one-liner opinion. Clear?
Hmm.
So you can
Yes,
use
sir.
any one of these, or you can use
Hmm.
1 and 2 maybe, or you can
Hmm.
use 2 and 3, or you can use
Hmm.
2, 3, and 4. It depends on you.
Okay.
You can use any one
Okay.
or any combination
Hmm.
of these,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
Okay. So now let's move forward.
Okay.
Now, I want you to see how things are paraphrased, right?
Okay.
I told you during our free lesson that please don't
Mm-hmm.
spend too much time don't spend too
Hmm.
much time on starting
Yes, sir.
or writing a paraphrased version that is immaculate, that is too good. Just start with
Yes.
the basic method and then come back
Hmm.
and you can improve that.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yes,
now
sir.
let's have a look on different
Mm-hmm.
these are not the very basic structures, but these are actual paraphrased version of or for these essays 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the same topics we have seen. Children have to be educated, advertisements spoil our
Hmm.
enjoyment. So for these different
Mm-hmm.
statements, someone has written ABCD, four paraphrased version. You will tell me which of these paraphrased version relate to which of the questions. Like if you read the first one,
Okay.
each year there
Okay.
are more and more
Mm-hmm.
cars on our streets, creating congestion
Hmm.
and causing delays.
Okay.
There are several ways that local governments can try to solve these problems.
Hmm. Sir, for wait a second. Which one? Chai. Some countries reduce
Some
inner
countries,
city
number 5,
traffic by.
very right, fine. Okay, so
Hmm.
if I say this is related to number
Hmm.
5, read next.
Hmm.
Unless
Okay. Unless we are born into wealth, we all need to find a way to earn a living. For many, our working life takes up most of our waking hours, and this can make us very unhappy indeed. So this is related to three. The world would be a happier
yeah, the
place.
world would be a
Yes,
happier place.
yeah, happier
Yeah.
place. Yes,
So what
three.
this person is saying, actually, what this person is saying, he's saying or she's
So
saying.
basic, yeah, he is you can say he is just mentioned against the statement like it is unhappy
No.
to
Look, what
one
he's no.
for
Actually,
many.
look,
Mm-hmm.
let me explain you. He's saying
Okay.
that well, uh, because most of our working days, like 12 hours or
Mm-hmm.
10 hours a day, we spend on our
Hmm.
work,
Hmm.
right? So if this a person who doesn't
Mm-hmm.
enjoy his or her work,
Mm-hmm.
so in his or her life, for 8 hours he will be sleeping daily, let's say 7 to 8 hours, and
Hmm.
for remaining 16 hours there will be 12
He is
hours.
working.
12 hours he
Mm-hmm.
will be in trouble, he will be unhappy,
Hmm. Yes.
right? So he will enjoy only maybe over weekends.
Hmm.
But on the other side, if there's a person who loves his work, okay, and
Hmm.
I'm proud to say, and actually I'm glad to say, and I'm thankful to Allah Almighty that He has given me a
Hmm.
profession that I enjoy actually, right?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
even in my free classes, I teach with full spirit, with my all energies, right? Because I love it. Actually,
Hmm.
I mean, it's not to convince you. Actually, it is to express my
Hmm.
excitement while I teach, right? So
Hmm. Yeah.
so for me, teaching,
Mm-hmm.
my work hours as well as my normal life are equally happy.
Okay, that's good. Same here, sir.
Oh, that's
Working
good.
in a hospital.
Uh-huh. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Actually, I have good relations,
And
good
thanks
terms with
to
doctors
Allah.
somehow. Okay, because I
Mhm.
spend time with them. Okay, so anyways, so now this is done, right? So number C.
Yeah. As a society, we have a duty to teach our young people. However, there are some lessons that we need to learn for ourselves. So,
Mhm.
one.
So number one, okay, I'll talk
Hmm.
about this statement, in a while. Number one is fine, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a flaw in this statement. I want to show you that. Now, this
Okay.
is a,
Okay.
again, this is a Cambridge book, but there's a flaw I'll discuss with you. Next, number D.
Okay. Okay. And number D is marketing involves teaching as many people as possible about a product. There is no better way to reach people than through television, popular culture, and the internet.
Mhm.
So, wait a second. My family, a computer also have to know sometimes this activity or this would so two.
Number two, it's about advertisement, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So, what's wrong in number C?
Number C, as a society, we have a duty to teach our young people. However, there are some so yeah, sir, they are also discussing their own issue. Like we need to learn for ourselves.
Yeah,
We have
actually,
a duty. Like,
it should be that they need to
yeah,
learn for
exactly.
themselves.
Hmm.
That means they means young people,
Yeah.
and themselves means again young people, right? So
Hmm.
actually, as a society, we have the duty to teach our young people. However, there are some
Hmm.
lessons that they need to learn for themselves, obviously,
Hmm.
not we, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now
Yes.
you see, this is the paraphrased versions. And after
Yes, sir.
paraphrased versions, we have got four methods, if you remember.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's try to paraphrase this statement.
The internet allow us to stay connected with each other no matter where we are. On the other hand, it also isolates us and encourages people not to socialize, to
Now,
understand.
if you come down,
Okay.
wait.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you see, someone has written a paraphrase, or you can say, attempted to write a paraphrased version of this topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
The internet is a
Mm-hmm.
wonderful tool that helps us to stay connected with each other no matter where we are. On the other hand, some websites encourage us not to socialize. But this person, unfortunately, has copied too many words from the passage, from the question.
Hmm.
So I want you
Yes.
to paraphrase the underlined parts, like stay connected
Mm-hmm.
with each
Okay,
other.
keep in touch.
Okay,
The
so
internet is
keep
a
in touch.
wonderful tool that help us to keep in touch
Keep in touch. Yeah.
uh, with anywhere
No, no,
in
no,
the
no.
world.
That's fine. Keep in
Mhm.
touch.
Okay, with each other. Okay,
Okay.
no matter where are, anywhere in the
Where we
world.
are. Anywhere in the world, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Then
Okay.
number two. After that,
On the
on the other
mhm.
hand,
On the other hand, stay obsession, obsession.
come on. On the other hand,
However, sorry.
however,
However,
yeah. Number three.
yes.
Okay, I will,
Some website.
I will be teaching you these words. What if
Hmm.
you have to connect two opposite ideas? So you can use a word, however, you can use the word
Okay.
on the other hand, you can use a word
Okay.
nonetheless, nevertheless, on the contrary.
Oh
Okay,
yes, sir.
these all words
Hmm.
are used to connect opposite ideas.
Yes.
Next, some
Okay.
websites
Some website encourages so obsession.
encourages
Stay at
us
home.
not to socialize. Now you have got three words for this: obsession, stay at home, see their friends. Now, you will have to use some connecting words as well to make a sentence out of it.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I can say some websites, however, some websites can become an obsession for some.
Okay.
And they stay at home most of the time, and hardly see their friends, or rarely see their friends.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so it will be something like that. But in the paraphrase version, you learn that you have to use the synonyms, or something that through which you avoid repetition. of the words used in the question statement. So now this is the answer, suggested answer in front of you on the top. The internet is a wonderful tool that helps us to keep in touch anywhere in the world. However, some websites can become an obsession and may encourage people to stay at home instead of going out to see their friends.
Okay.
Fine?
Yes, sir.
So shall I move on now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you remember, we have learned that in the first part of the introduction, we will paraphrase the things. And after paraphrasing, we can use any of these four methods. Any of these four methods, 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yes, sir.
Now you will tell me which of these statements A, B, C, D uses which of these methods.
Okay.
Like,
Okay,
does the internet really helps us? Now topic is the same, internet connectivity, keep in mind.
Yes, sir. So for summarize the question, so we are making the question, does the
Yeah,
internet
so we
really
are
help
making
us?
another topic. We are summing up the question through another question.
Yes.
Right, right,
Does the
very right.
internet, okay, so four.
This
We
is
need to
four.
consider both the benefit and drawbacks of the internet. So we are explaining what you
What
do.
we
So
intend
number
to
two.
write about in the next
Yeah.
paragraph, and we are saying it
Yes, sir.
indirectly, right? We are
So
not saying
two.
that in this essay we will discuss the advantages, or in this essay we will
Hmm.
do this, right? Okay, next, number C.
Yes. I think the word. So word. So basically there is interpretation. So one.
Interpretation of the
I
word.
think
Tool is
yes.
very important, right? So this is one.
Yes.
Number D.
These statements summarize my own mixed feelings. So it is a brief reaction to the
Yeah,
question
that is
statement.
a short opinion or brief reaction, right? So you see, these are the
Yes.
examples. You can utilize them. You can also try practicing them. Clear?
Okay.
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 So this way you can write a very good introduction. But again, don't spend too much of time in taking a start.
Okay, sir.
Right. So next, I would like you guys, not now, at your own, just look at this and decide which would make a good final sentence for, actually this is not the homework, okay, this is the exercise that we are going to do now. Sorry, which would make a good final sentence for the introduction. Let's say you have paraphrased, you have used one of the topics, and then you want to add one more sentence. Which one sentence is the best sentence?
Look at the sentence 1 to 4 below, sir. For the introduction, okay. Let us consider the argument for and against how we can ensure that Sir, it seems clear that the internet brings a lot of problem. Sir, I'm not. What is the question? Like, look at the
Okay,
sentence
okay.
1 to
Look,
4 below.
for example, keeping the same topic in mind, same topic, this one, you have written the paraphrased version, right? And you
Yes.
have learned the four methods as well.
Yes.
Like after this, you want to write one sentence.
Okay.
One
Okay.
sentence.
Okay.
Okay? So
Okay.
which one
Got
sentence
it.
would be best for it?
Okay, sir. Sir, one.
Okay, there's a problem with one. It does not cover both the sides of the topic.
Okay.
It is only talking
Okay.
about the problems.
Okay. So four. Let us consider the arguments for and against computer.
But that is against computers, not the internet.
Okay. Yes.
Don't try to jump to your conclusions. Okay, this is a normal problem, a very general
Okay.
tendency with the students during reading test, especially during reading test. I will teach you, or I will insist again and again. Please try to follow the sequence. Like if you say, okay, one is not the answer, then switch to number 2 instead of jumping to number 4. Next.
Okay. So is the internet a positive or negative influences on our life? Yes. B.
Sorry. 2.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, 2. Actually, 2 covers both the sides.
Hmm.
right? And it is about
And
internet. If
yes,
you
sir.
look at number 3, that
Hmm.
is again only focusing on the problems.
Hmm.
Okay. And number 2, which technique we are using in number 2?
Sir, fourth.
Fourth, summing up the topic
Yeah, and
to a
making a
new
question.
question, right? You see, this is another example of that. So
Hmm.
I hope this is again, as I told you, this is much easier than number 1. Number 1 is the
Hmm.
most difficult method. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That is that, that really requires some skills, give your interpretation of the words. But for number 2 and number
Okay.
3, these are the simplest, and in some cases number 4 is also a good way. But please ensure
Okay.
one thing, that it should cover both the aspects of the topic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, linking ideas, we will start this topic tomorrow, inshallah. And I
Okay.
will tell you how to link different ideas. So let's call it a day
Mm-hmm.
now. And if you have any
Okay.
queries, any questions, you can shoot.
Okay. Sir, I want to know the one thing.
Mhm,
So, as you are saying, first of all, you have to think about the point which is related to your statement or your question.
mhm,
Okay. So sometimes, whenever I think, so I have few points. But when
mhm,
you can say, as you mentioned the whole topic. So yes, I realize yes, this is a point which is against the statement and which is towards the statement. So, sir, how to do this thinking process?
okay.
As I know about all the, you can say, as you mentioned, but at that time
I
when
know
I
that.
started to
Okay,
think,
yeah,
yeah.
I understand. Many of the students, they, especially those who are actually under 30, you see, they face this
Hmm.
problem, right? Under age 30, actually what happens, uh, whenever you will give me a topic based on my experience, not of teaching IELTS, but actually because
Mm-hmm.
of my, world knowledge, because of my
Mm-hmm.
experience in my life, I
Mm-hmm.
can relate the things very easily. Fine. For students,
Hmm.
it's sometimes it's a problem. And for that, you
Hmm.
know, I always advise to start reading the articles.
Okay.
Even if you read the articles in your own native language, even that's
Hmm.
fine for idea generation.
Okay.
You will see, for example, nowadays election campaign is, at its peak nowadays in Pakistan, right?
Yes, sir.
And you will see different articles written by different people, almost on the same topic.
Hmm.
One will be
Okay.
favoring that topic and other will be against that topic.
Hmm.
Fine.
Okay.
So, for example,
Okay.
someone may say that, okay, aggressive politics, is causing chaos in the country.
Hmm.
But someone may say that, well, because of this aggressive politics, people are, waking up now.
Hmm.
Fine.
Yes.
Their intellect level regarding democracy and, general knowledge of the or the power they have got with them, or the power they have got in their votes. So they have started to realize it. They have started questioning the leaders now. Fine.
Okay.
So now these are
Okay.
two different views. This will tell you how to think differently. So this
Okay.
capability or this skill is developed over a month or so at least. Actually, this is a skill
Okay.
that you develop over years.
Okay.
But again, as I've told you, that it's better to start reading the articles.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so I've given you an assignment.
Okay.
You have given me a question.
Yeah.
So, you have created a trouble for yourself. But actually, in the first day, on the very first day, I told you that please
Hmm.
start doing it. It's it's really going to help you. Not in reading, but in writing
Hmm.
as well, and in speaking
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
And one more thing, actually, there's a problem, small problem with you in your
Hmm.
pronunciation, and that is
Hmm.
related to anything starting with S. Actually, in our pure Urdu language,
Yes, sir.
we add Hamza, Alif, or A before S somehow, like school.
Yes, sir.
We don't
Sometimes.
say school,
Yeah.
we say school.
Hmm.
But actually, this is
Hmm.
school.
School.
right? Similarly,
Sentence.
yeah, sentence, it's not sentence, right? Or
Hmm.
similarly, like it's not state. I mean, it's state. It's not state.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
try to
Okay.
overcome this problem as well.
Okay, sir.
Right. So, any other question?
No, sir.
Okay, now you don't
Thank
want any
you.
assignments. Okay, take care. Bye bye.
No.
See you
Okay,
tomorrow.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. सर आपने कहा था कि वो कुछ